Welcome back to HistoryCrafts. Born on July 23, 1892, in the Harar province of Ethiopia, Tafari Makonnen was descended from a line of rulers linked to the Solomonic dynasty. His upbringing in the Ethiopian Orthodox faith and his education in traditional and modern teachings prepared him for a future of leadership. Appointed as governor of Harar at a young age, Tafari showcased remarkable administrative skills. He embarked on a series of modernization projects, improving infrastructure and education, earning him the respect and loyalty of his subjects and peers. In 1928, Tafari was crowned regent and heir apparent to Empress Zuditu. His progressive vision often clashed with the conservative monarchy, but upon her death in 1930, he was crowned Emperor Haile Selassie I, Power of the Trinity. As emperor, Haile Selassie quickly implemented Ethiopia's first written constitution, which limited the powers of the nobility and sought to centralize governance. His reforms in education and public works laid the groundwork for a modern Ethiopian state. The early years of Haile Selassie's reign set a new course for Ethiopia, striving towards modernization and global recognition. However, looming challenges would soon test his leadership and the resilience of his nation. Forced into exile in May 1936 because of the Second Italo-Ethiopian War, Haile Selassie took his plea to the League of Nations. His powerful speech in June 1936, condemning the use of chemical weapons and appealing for assistance, echoed globally, but resulted in minimal immediate support, symbolizing the failure of collective security, but raising his profile as an international symbol of resistance. With the outbreak of World War II, the strategic importance of Ethiopia gained prominence. By 1941, with the help of British forces, Haile Selassie orchestrated a triumphant return to Ethiopia, liberating his nation from Italian control and restoring his position as emperor. Following the liberation, Haile Selassie embarked on an ambitious plan to modernize Ethiopia. He introduced social, educational, and economic reforms aimed at rebuilding the nation. Through resilience and a vision for a modern Ethiopia, Haile Selassie navigated his country through one of its darkest chapters into a period of reconstruction and hope. Haile Selassie's vision for a progressive Ethiopia continued through the 1960s and early 70s. He established several educational institutions and healthcare facilities, aiming to reduce Ethiopia's dependency on foreign aid by fostering self-sufficiency. However, his reforms often struggled to keep pace with the growing demands of a rapidly changing society. On the international stage, Haile Selassie emerged as a significant figure in Pan-African politics. He played a pivotal role in the establishment of the Organization of African Unity in 1963, advocating for solidarity among African nations in the global arena. His diplomatic efforts were instrumental in mediating conflicts and advancing the decolonization process across Africa. Despite these accomplishments, the final years of Haile Selassie's reign were marked by mounting challenges. Economic hardships, exacerbated by the 1973 oil crisis and severe droughts, led to widespread famine and discontent. This unrest culminated in a coup d'etat in 1974, ending nearly 4 decades of his rule. Following his overthrow, Haile Selassie spent his last months under house arrest. On the 27th of August 1975, Haile Selassie was murdered by military officers of the Derg regime, a fact that remained undiscovered for another 20 years. In 1994, an Ethiopian court found several former military officers guilty of strangling the emperor in his bed in 1975. Beyond Ethiopia, Haile Selassie became a symbolic figure for the Rastafarian movement, which venerates him as a messianic figure who embodied African independence and identity. The prophecy that contributed to Haile Selassie's significance in the Rastafari movement originates from Marcus Garvey, a prominent black nationalist leader who advocated for the return of African descendants to their homeland and for black self-determination. In the 1920s, Garvey is believed to have proclaimed, "Look to Africa when a black king shall be crowned, for the day of deliverance is at hand." This statement resonated deeply among the oppressed African diaspora in the Caribbean and the Americas, who were searching for a symbol of hope and redemption. When Rastafari Makonnen was crowned Emperor Haile Selassie of Ethiopia in 1930, many saw this event as the fulfillment of Garvey's prophecy. Selassie's coronation titles, including King of Kings, Lord of Lords, Conquering Lion of the tribe of Judah, held significant biblical connotations, aligning him with the messianic expectations in the Judeo-Christian tradition. His lineage was also said to trace back to King Solomon and the Queen of Sheba, further enhancing his divine status in the eyes of his followers. Selassie's defiance against the Italian invasion in 1935 and his appeal to the League of Nations for support showcased his role as a leader who stood against oppression and injustice. This resistance symbolized the fight for African dignity and autonomy, inspiring Rastafarians to view Selassie as the earthly representation of Jah, God. Thus, the Rastafari movement adopted Selassie as their messianic figure, believing that he would lead the African diaspora back to their ancestral homeland and usher in a new era of peace and righteousness. The movement's name, Rastafari, is derived from Selassie's pre-coronation name, Ras, Prince Tafari, indicating their deep respect and spiritual reverence for him as the prophesied Redeemer. As we reflect on the multifaceted life of Haile Selassie, we see a figure who was both a visionary and a controversial leader. How has your perception of him changed through this series? What aspects of his leadership do you find most compelling or problematic? Share your thoughts and let us know which historical figure or event you'd like us to explore next. We hope you enjoyed this video and learned something new. Leave a like and subscribe for more interesting videos from our history. This is HistoryCrafts, where history crafts itself.